First up is a tear-off palette. Now these are really useful because they're very thin, so you can fold them up as small as you like to store them in your pencil case or in your sketchbook itself if you've got a pocket. But what I usually do with these is I fold them in half and then I put them behind the page onto which I'm going to use markers or anything that's going to bleed through. So as you can see, it's a good fit. It's slightly larger than the page, just in case you kind of accidentally go over the edge, and it's just kind of nice and thin. It doesn't, get in the way of anything. And then I often fold it again for storage, or if I'm using it in a smaller sketchbook. But my Leuchtturm book has a nice little folder at the back, so I tend to put mine in there just to store it away, ready for next time. Next up we have some packaging that I'm recycling. Recycling any kind of plastic packaging is always going to be a plus for the environment, but it can be difficult to find packaging that's the right size for your sketchbook. So this method probably is going to work best if you've got a smaller sketchbook. This packaging here was quite difficult to cut, and you have to be really careful when you do it, because as you'll see in a moment, you do get some jaggedy edges if you're not careful. So my first time cutting this out was just to literally cut out the rough shape. Then I cut it again to make sure the edges were nice and smooth. And it makes the perfect little page protector for a smaller sketchbook. Next up are these plastic dividers. Now you can get these from most stationery shops. They're basically just thin plastic dividers that have holes in them, and you can put them in your folders to divide up all your sections of work. What I tend to do with these is I draw around the sketchbook that I want to use it with, and then I cut it out using scissors, and then you have a nice colourful and slim protector. Now lastly, and this is my favourite method, is making my own custom page protector using laminate pouches. So basically you can make it to any size you wish, and you can also use any kind of decorative paper in it if you want to make it look pretty. So as you can see, I made a square one there for quite a large sketchbook. So what you're going to need for this is a laminating machine. You can usually get them over here in the UK. I know they've sold them in Aldi recently, and also in Wilkinson's. They're about £10. But if you haven't got one, there might be one at school, or perhaps at work or at your parents' work. Anyway, you will also need some laminating pouches. Again, they're not very expensive, and the way they work is you open them up and you place your decorative paper or whatever you want to laminate inside it. So I've chosen some card that I got from Pound Stretcher. Basically they do some books with all different design papers on them, with different themes. This one was from the Frozen book, and it's just a nice pale blue piece of card with some nice designs on it. So I started off by placing this sheet, which is A5 in size, inside the A4 laminating sheet. And as you can see, that only takes up half of the sheet. So in a moment I decided to not waste it and put another sheet in so that I could have either 2 page protectors, or I could keep the sheet and use it for something else, because you can actually fold it in half if you want to. So I decided to do it this way so that I didn't waste a laminating pouch. And then it's as simple as waiting for the laminating machine to heat up and passing it through the machine.